What's up guys, LegomationStudio here coming at you with another Bionicle classic review. Today we'll be taking a look at the Piraka. Are you as excited as I am? I loved this year. It's when the story started to get really interesting, things were moving around so fast, and the Piraka were here to make a mess of everything. Now, they had released videos, they'd made a song, they even had the All-American Rejects as some sort of teaser poster of Save the Band that were released that year. So Piraka seemed like total bad guys. They weren't like the Roxy because they had more characteristics to them, and they weren't like the Borak because they weren't in hordes. Same with like Vizac and Vaki. These guys were actually having all characteristics of their own. They were all like thugs who wanted to rule the world. Really cool. They kind of continued that for the Baraki as well, but we'll review them later. For now, let's take a look at the Piraka. Now, I had actually only bought these three guys separately. This one for my birthday, this one with my money, this one with my money, because, you know, I'd get allowance, so I had money for that. But I actually bought the ear knock set, which came with all three of the other Piraka, but I actually never had their canisters. I was only able to get three, but I do count them as having them, and maybe I'll put them together and review ear knock if I have time later. But for right now, okay, back to the Piraka. Let's take a look at one of the canisters. Here we'll just quickly take a look at Hakon's canister. Now, Hakon, same with all the Piraka, they have their kind of their spine, or their, you could call it, mask displayed, and they had a try me function on the top in which you could press down and their actual glow up eyes were inside the canister. Very cool. Are you serious? Does the phone always have to ring? It's gonna keep ringing too, which is the most annoying part. So very cool preview of the eyes that we could get. Of course, I've taken that out and I can't really put it back in because that would be annoying and it'd ruin the plastic. But alright, on the front, you even have Try Me right here. We have in the circle, Hakon, and they also had nicknames. He was called the Bully. He's jumping out at you. He's got a gun, which is what we were introduced to that year. Actual guns. Yes, that's right. Bionicle was getting hardcore and serious and dark. 7 through 16-year-olds, 42 pieces, a good amount of pieces. And now that we had these cool Zamrosphere pieces, they said warning, choking hazard, because we actually had these ammos that people could choke on. So we had to warn little kids. The canisters looked really cool. They had dots on the side. On the top, we were given these cool pieces here, cool look, design to what the Piraka were. And it's kind of an oval shape, which is what we were introduced to with like the Borak and stuff. So very cool. They are actually stackable, if you can see. So you could stack them up like so, and it'd make it easier for companies to ship them out as well. On the back, we just have Hakon standing in a position with his weapon and his shooter. We have the ability of folding one down and putting him in their canister, all displayed. The fact that their teeth glow in the dark as well is previewed here. So yeah, glow in the dark teeth, really cool. Another cool fact, these were only $8.99 back then. Nowadays, for something with 42 pieces, it's like $13, $15. It's ridiculous. It shows you that $9 back then could get you a good set. And nowadays they just become more expensive because of like the oil, like less oil in the world to make plastic. Ridiculous. Alright, that's the canister. Let's open them up and start looking at each one of them separately, then together. You know how these reviews go. Sweet. The Piraka came with instruction booklets. Let's quickly take a look at it. As you can see, they showed the function of actually taking out the light from the top of the lid. The combiner model, still included in the instructions, didn't have to go online. All the Piraka and where they come from, and even boxes of Zamrospheres that they would sell for you if you wanted extra ammo. On the back we have an advertise of the two Titans, but we would soon know to be three. That's Axon and Brutaka. The website, the games you can play, Voya-Nui, Nui, really cool. How to win Lego and stuff. And then an advertise for Bionicle 3, Web of Shadows, and then the game, which I actually never played. If someone were to get me it, or if I could find it, I'd definitely do a little review on it, but that's Maze of Shadows. A cool game that I never actually ended up playing for Game Boy. Alright. Alright, so first we're going to take a look at Avok here. Now, Avok is the brown Piraka. He has a cool spiky spine. On the back, his spines would get like bigger. Very cool the way they did this. We were also introduced this year to kind of the Anika build. These pieces were released with the Piraka. Instead of having to build separate small pieces, they were just in chunks. You had the Tometru waist connected to the chest piece. Very cool. The legs, as also we would see with the Anika, we were using more of the elongated Vizac double, socket piece. It went down, we had the classic Piraka limb here with the little dots, and this in brown, of course. We have cool feet. Very cool. These are like the Piraka feet, as I could say they are. Is the Piraka feet. The flat versions. There's claw ones as well. As we move on, we have light brown for the arms, light brown double socket that reaches out to another Piraka limb that we were introduced to. We actually have his hand that connects to a cool weapon. It's kind of a crossbow, but also like a machine gun. Don't know what you would call it, but it looks like a gun, and all these guys were getting guns then. As far as his face goes, it's very wide, like a big grin. Do his eyes work? No, sadly not. A lot of these guys' eyes don't work now because batteries have just run out. Piraka Armor, if I didn't go over, kind of looks like this too. It was similar to the small pieces we were given with Tometru, but instead they're kind of larger and more chunky. I liked the look of them. So big smiley fat face grin is kind of his look. If we move to the side, we kind of have a Nui Tometru arm piece in brown, and then we have the new shooter, the Zammersphere launcher, in which you would put a Zammersphere and shoot, and it would snap and shoot out. Very cool. It would shoot farther because of that stress and tension on the ball. That's what we have for Avok. Alright, now here's Vizac. As you know, the brother or twin of Vizan. Evil twin. Or no, this isn't the as evil one. Vizan was more evil. Vizac is blue color scheme, very dark blue. For the legs, we get the spikier version of the Piraka feet because there were half and half. There were ones with the spiky feet and ones with the flat feet. For Vizac, we have the spiky ones. As we move up, similar legs to what we had with Avok. Of course, we have all color, which I love. We have the elongated Vizac limbs in light blue to go along with the dark blue. We have the Piraka limb here. Move upwards, we have the same body build as we had with Avok, where we have the Tometru torso, and then with the chest we have the Piraka chest in silver. On the side, we move on to another Piraka limb, but with its weapon we have more of like a drill and hook, so you could flip it around and use it as a hook, or flip it around and use it as a kind of spear, or kind of little dagger drill. Very cool. On the other side we just have another shooter, but this one in more of a lighter silver and not darker for his Zammer launcher. His spine is a little different because we have kind of these flat planks with little niches in them. They get bigger as we go further on to the top. Do his eyes light up? Yes! There we go, one of them is working. Anyways, this is also the set that they made a stars set out of, which is very interesting. That of all of them, they chose Vizac. He has a couple little dots on his chin as kind of his design. Very cool. Kind of looks like resembles a shark, if you were to ask me. But not my favorite of the Piraka, but definitely a cool one at that. We got a lot of cool of the pieces in this dark blue, navy blue, and light blue color. And then we have a nice little, instead of gunmetal with Avok, we have a silver chest. Very cool. For Zaktan, the leader of the Piraka, if you didn't remember, also kind of has a cool bladed, like gear and blade weapon. Very cool, in a gold, really. It has 3 blades, and then on the back we have another hook, just like what we had with not Zaktan, Avok and Vizac. It kind of turns into a hook. You put his foot on wrong, dude. That's why. He has the flat feet in green. We move upward, we have the Piraka limb in green, Piraka Armor in green, and then kind of a light tan color. Is that still green, or would you say that's more of a brown tan? Still
it's green?
Okay, still green, light green, so we're staying with this color scheme very well. Move upwards, we have a gold chest plate or piece, kind of just to work with his torso. So, very cool. Definitely looks like a leader of the Piraka. His Zammersphere launcher is in gold too, which is really cool. Move on, we have a dark green Nui limb that connects to a double socket limb. And let's take a look at his spine. His spine is kind of double-sided because it's edged on both sides with cool kind of lumps here that move on to double spikes that slowly move up and get bigger as we move closer to his head. They both branch out on the side as well. if you can see kind of quickly, the rubber has kind of morphed because it's been in a canister all of its life, but it kind of stood out like two little horns, so very cool. Zocton's eyes work, I believe, too, so really awesome, really cool. Now another thing about this is that its chin is kind of pointy, and he looks very menacing and like he's scheming, and he always was, because he hated all the Piraka. The Piraka hated each other, which kind of what led to their downfall in the end, if you remember. But very cool. Zocton has to be one of my favorite. Let's look at another one of these guys. Here we have Thok. Thok is the white Piraka, and my favorite of all of them because I love the look of him. As we start from the bottom, we have the flat Piraka feet in white, but we move up and we have a light blue, so white and light blue color scheme. I think that's very cool. To get this armor in that color is very useful for mocking as well. As we move up, his torso is in the light blue to match his actual Vizac limbs that are in white blue as well. Armor in white. We move upward, we have a light silver, like similar what we had with Vizac Piraka chest. To the side we have another Piraka limb, but for the weapon, a really awesome weapon and my favorite out of all of them because of the little light blue tube piece. Because you take this off, there's two pegs inside, you'd fit that in there and it looked like he was carrying like a liquid of some sort that he could shoot like this, so he had like a little phaser gun, and then at the same time he also had a large hook that he could use if he was in melee combat with fist-to-fist fighting. So very awesome weapon, my favorite of all the weapons. On the back, his spine is kind of normal, it's just very spiky, it's these long spikes, and I think that's really cool. As you can see, it curves a little bit, but that's just because it's been in like a canister all of its life. As we move up though, they get bigger, and then they get smaller as we get into the arms, and they kind of just branch out after one long spike there. Very cool. He kind of looks like he has a beard, looks like his eyes do not light up sadly, but kind of a normal Piraka face as far as that goes. On his other arm, we have a white Red-Nui limb that moves on to kind of a silver Zamisphere launcher like what we had with Vizac. So, very cool. I loved Thok. You can always post in the comment section which you thought was your favorite. Now let's move on to another one. Alright, the next one we have the black Piraka. As you can see, definitely my second favorite because I like the gold and black color scheme. He has gold, like Zocton, not as much, but not too much to kind of overpower the set. As we move up, we start with the claw-like feet, so no flat feet, and they're tipped with gold, so very cool, gold and black, cool for mocking. Move upward, we have Piraka legs in black, then we have black armor, and then we have like pretty much a dark gray limb piece that connects to his torso, which connects to a gold, just like we have with Zocton, and I think they're the same shade of gold, chest plate. As for his weapon, we have kind of it's a weird weapon, and I didn't really like it, but it's this spinny rotor here that kind of is serrated and bladed, but not exactly, so I wouldn't say it'd be the most useful weapon, but if you fold it back, he has kind of a nice, cool little drill that he can use as well. Very cool. The thing about the Piraka is their weapons were double uses. You had the front use, you could fold it back, you'd have the next use. Very cool. As for his spine, it's kind of like Zocton's, actually a lot like Zocton's, a little longer. You know, it's double pegged, and you have the double spine, kind of goes upwards, and then gets to the top and just continues that same design there. But then you have kind of just dumb little wimpy spikes that kind of reach out to his arms. Kind of a disappointment there. But as far as his head go, very cool. It kind of looks like he has glasses because they kind of scope out like two circles. And do his eyes work? No, sadly no. But very cool, kind of a different look, a more smarter, menacing look than what the other Piraka had. And we got a black Red-Nui limb, and then another gold Zamisphere launcher. So very cool. That's Redoc. Last but not least, we have Hakon, the red Piraka. He has kind of the gunmetal tipped claw Piraka feet that move onto the back to create a more of a red color. His limbs are in red, armor is in red, his torso and Vizac limbs are also in kind of a crimson red. Very cool. Love that color. As we head up, we have a gunmetal chest, just like we had with Avok. Branches out to his arms. His weapon is, I mean, if you look at this, it looks like a gun. So the fact that LEGO was going into a darker route with Bionicle was much appreciated by us older fans who had been playing Call of Duty and Halo at the time. So, more violent was a big complaint, probably why Hero Factory doesn't really have similar looking weapons nowadays, but we were very much introduced to soon with New Peru. the gun for Bionicle. It has a little Lego peg, a little Lego stick in clear red to kind of show that it's like a laser. If we point it back, another claw, because Piraka's needed that claw to grab onto things, I guess, because they didn't really have a hand there. So very cool. The half weapon, half claw, awesomeness. On the back, it's just kind of a normal spine, except, what am I saying? It's not normal. We have 3 pegged. The only one with actually 3 spikes as we go upwards, and then we'd get to the top, we'd have that same design, it would branch off into a bunch of 3 edged spikes again. So probably my favorite of the cool spine designs, but it kind of got wimpy as it went out here, and his face is just kind of, you know, normal Piraka face with like studs on the bottom that look really cool, and very small eyes compared to the rest of them. Then we just have a red Metrunui limb that connects to the Zammer launcher in gunmetal gray. Very cool. Not my favorite, probably my second or third favorite of the Piraka. But gotta say, these guys really packed a punch and were completely different to what LEGO had done before. Now let's look at all of them together and give our final rating. Alright, so here we have all 6 Piraka. Such an awesome way to kick off the 2006 Voya-Nui line. These guys all had something similar with their spines and their teeth and their glow-in-the-dark eyes, and each had a specific weapon, and we had just been introduced to this new, what we call the Anika build, although you really should call it the Piraka build, because they're the ones who started it all. This double-piece torso, move on to the, you know, the head with just a handpiece. Very interesting design. Now these were the only sets to really use, besides I guess Vizac if you count him, which we will review soon. Only ones to really use these white Piraka glow-in-the-dark heads, because they're the only ones you could actually fit the glow-in-the-dark headpiece. Comment in the section below if they were ever reused in any other sets, but I'm pretty sure these were the only ones. The Piraka were the only ones who actually used the Piraka heads. Same with the Anika, the only ones to use the Anika heads. So, I loved these villains. You know, the story was that they had enslaved all the Matoran on the planet to, like, collect a lot of the plasma from the, not planet, Voya-Nui, to collect all the lava from the mountain while Vizac was down guarding the Mask of Life, and they were hoping to someday get it. But that was what their plan was. They were awful, vicious warlords. So, did you like them? Comment in the section below. Piraka, your favorite villains, not your favorite villains? Which one is your favorite? I'd have to say Thok is my favorite just because I really like the white and light blue. Second, probably Redok. Third, probably, you know, Hakon, just because he was my first because he was red, and you know how I love red. So, thanks for watching this review, guys. If I were to rate them, I'd say 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10. LEGO is just getting more and more creative and more innovative with their sets and storyline. After getting out of the dark Metrunui phase, we headed on to the really cool Voya-Nui, Mari-Nui, and soon to be Bara Magna storyline. So, thanks for watching this review. Post in the comments section, like, thumbs up, add to your favorites, and subscribe. And we'll see you guys later with another review, Bionicle Classic review of the Toa and Nika. And we'll see you guys later. This is LegomationStudio, signing out.